only one news story, and this one has gone viral this week in entertainment news. This is through um this is a Black Zeus story that he wanted to present to the group, which is Dr. Dre's 38-year-old daughter says she's homeless. I've been reaching out to my dad for help. Dr. Dre's eldest daughter claims she is homeless and living out of the car. The hip hop mogul, who has an estimated net worth of $800 million, reported in 2019, was allegedly cut her daughter Latanya Young off last year as she spoke to the Daily Mail regarding her financial situation. I've been working in a warehouse doing Uber Eats, DoorDash. Latanya is a single mother of 4, revealed. My kids are staying with friends. They are not living in the car. It's just me. Latanya recently moved from Nevada to California, where there are higher wages. I'm taking odd jobs just to make it now. I got paid $15 an hour as an assembler at the warehouse. Latanya claims that she hasn't seen her famous father in 18 years and doesn't even have his phone number, communicating with him through his team. She fears that she's about to lose the rental car she's living in as she can't afford to make those payments. I'm homeless. I've been reaching out to my dad for help. His lawyers has said that my dad doesn't want to help me because I've spoken about him to the press. A rep for the rapper did not report to Yahoo Entertainment for request for comment. Let me just pull another quote and then we could get into the conversation. People label me as a millionaire's daughter, so they don't understand why I'm working, she added. It makes me want to crawl under a rock. I'm out on the streets. And then obviously this article goes into like more of his net worth and his prior business ventures. So what do we make of Dr. Dre's daughter claiming homelessness and Dr. Dre not assisting her in a time of need?
Smith, go ahead, bro. Go ahead, bro. Because Schubert and Cash dominated the last
They
section.
dominated, right?
Yeah, bro.
So I'll make this about it. Motherfuckers need to mind their business because they don't know what the situation is. Is this a Kirk Franklin kind of story? You know what I mean? I don't know how often you all see the celebrities' kids when they try to take advantage of their family members and they don't want to work for shit. I think you just mentioned that this girl is 38 years old.
Yes.
So you're 38 and you're claiming that you haven't seen your father since 20. Because you say she hasn't seen or spoke to him in 18 years. That's the claim that you're making.
Yep. Those are the quotes.
I don't know the situation. And I'm gonna leave it at that because again, that's a family situation and we don't know enough about it. I don't know if it was a thing that he told his daughter to do X, Y, and Z and she refused because she just thought he was just gonna give her handouts for the rest of her fucking life or something. You know what I mean? We don't know what those situations are. I would think that he wouldn't do that to his daughter because I would never do that to my own child. But I don't know those situations. You know what I mean? And the only thing we got here is hearsay. At the end of the day, he just gave his wife, how much is he giving his ex-wife?
$300,000 a month.
Something a month. You know what I mean? And if she's saying from the father, so basically she's saying that Dre ain't giving money to nobody. Because if you have other siblings, he's not giving money to them either. And you can't go see your other siblings to get some money. And you're in a rental car. So you renting this car to stay in. Like this shit got some holes to it. You know what I mean? I don't know the story. I don't know the young lady. I gotta read that shit on my own and have further commentary on it. But I think it might be one of those Kirk Franklin kind of stories. I don't know. Or the what was it, Eddie Murphy kind of story and shit.
I'm with you. Homegirl's 38. If the nigga left her something in the will, okay, that's cool. But it ain't my obligation to take care of my daughter. It's not like I stole your fucking money and made you homeless. You're the one who chose to take whatever, route you took. It don't matter who the father is. And like, honestly, I mean, I would think that parents would be less likely to just give their kids money once they realize, like, yo, this motherfucker ain't about they not about nothing.
They're not trying to do anything. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know that part. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm good.
You just want me to give you a handout and shit?
Is she college educated? Did she come to the? Did he put her through college? Did she try to go to school? Did she try to start a business where the nigga, gave money? Like, is she trying something?
Because I
just...
do know Shaquille O'Neal
but you know
told
what?
his kids this: you can't touch his cheese without them degrees. So I don't know what she was told. You know what I mean?
But you know what though, Smith?
But at the end of the day, she's fucking 38 years old.
I'll say this too, and then one of you guys can jump in. The simple fact that she's working at McDonald's shows that she ain't really had no drive.
That she has like low drive. Eats, DoorDash,
yeah, but like
the delivery shit.
But where's your business, or where's your career, or where's your something?
Yeah.
Come on, you doing some shit that everyday person is doing. Go ahead, y'all.
Exactly.
From what I read, because what brought my attention to, I can't remember the name of this dude. He's like a commentator on ESPN and everything, and he had mentioned about this whole thing.
Shannon Sharp, more likely.
Yes, I think that was him.
Yeah.
He was basically saying like, why should Dre, take care of her at 38 years old? And turns out that she's been getting an allowance from Dre all the way up to 2018.
Sure. Exactly.
All the way up to 2018. So even though she was like, she hasn't seen him, she's been getting his money. You know what I mean? The whole thing is, what's she doing with it? And the other thing is, like, she apparently, she's a baby mama by more than one dude.
Yeah.
So she made bad choices in life. And maybe daddy said, you know what? I'm tired of talking to you. I'm tired of fucking with you, trying to get you on the right path. And I'm paying for you and this, that, and the other. Fuck it. You on your own.
Giving that little tough love. We call that tough love.
Yeah, it's like you need to feel how real these streets really are. You know, so the whole thing is I can't be mad at that. My whole thing is that would the public even question it if it was Dr. Renee and her son, Tariq? Would they say, oh, well, Tariq is 38 years old with 3 kids and he's home with his mom should be paying for him, or because she has 800 million? I doubt it. If it was a dude, they'd be like, he need to man up and, do what he got to do. But because it's a woman, it's a completely different story. And because
that's a good point there, Black Zeus.
The money's coming from her daddy. It's a different story.
Nah, I agree. Like the double standard in regards of how men and women, how they view men and women in certain circumstances is quite fascinating. A complete contradiction. I think for me, I'm not gonna I agree with every one of you guys' talking points. I think for me, when Schubert presented this story for me to look into and report, I went online, and so one of the things that was perplexing to me was this is why Black people don't have generational wealth. And instantly, I thought to myself, it's just like, yo, this lady is a prime example why generational wealth is not even in existence in most households, whether Black, white, or whatever.
Exactly.
So it's just like, how is this even a talking point that is floating out there in regards to Dr. Dre not creating generational wealth by not assisting this young lady out when this lady's whole life is in disarray? I don't know, man.
I mean, if you want to even put more perspective, I just saw in the Olympics yesterday, Bruce Springsteen's daughter, Jennifer Springsteen, is in the Olympics as a conquistador. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, he's obviously going to financially support her if she's doing something with her life. But if you're making bad choices, why would I continue to financially support that?
Yeah, and the part that I was going to say with that, and I talk about generational wealth, it's hard to do the generational wealth when you have kids that spoil you and don't understand the value and the hard work that it takes.
Exactly.
So yes, I have to cut you the fuck off so you can see that you ain't got it easy. Like, we didn't start from this. So if Cash just started his generational wealth, you have to show your son or daughter, look, ho. You got to work hard for this shit. This shit don't just come easy.
Yeah.
I'm making it look easy for you, but it doesn't come like that. So it's harder to do generational wealth because if you give somebody X amount of dollars and they have no concept of money or no concept of work or worth, that money is going to go. And there won't be no generational wealth. Like Zeus said, she's getting an allowance. What is she doing with her money? What were you doing? You out here partying and shit? Like, what are you doing? So that's why I said it's hard to comment on it because I know that man just ain't just walk away from you. I ain't gonna go with that.
And this ain't the first time we've heard this argument, because
you know what I mean.
If you remember a couple years back when Nas, there was a big issue. His children had outgrown child support, and everybody's like, "Yo, he should continue to support his baby mama." It's like,
you know what though?
You would never use that argument with a man. If it was the other way around,
how much?
You would never use that argument with a man.
But how much do we hold Dr. Dre responsible for what's that? Not supporting it, but it's sort of like supporting her lifestyle. Like, I get you got to take care of her until she's a certain age, legally by law. But then at what point do you say, look, you got to come up with these, you have to be able to do something with this money that I'm giving to you. You can't be buying houses and cars and busy living off of it. So is he holding her
accountable though? That he had. He could have had an ultimatum.
Yeah, but if she's getting until she's 28,
I'm cutting you off.
But you getting into you 28 though, like, yo, you get this freebie until you either 18 or until you out of college, either or. Then after that, yo, you either got to come to me with some type of proposal or some plan and say like, yo, this is what I need the money for. Outside of, even if you had, okay, I want to try a business. All right, cool. It fails.
Parent, Henry. So maybe he thought he was doing the right thing, and he was giving her money thinking that she was going to do something with it.
Yeah,
what I mean? She kept saying,
you hit it right on the nose.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And then he found out she was lying. She wasn't doing shit.
Yeah.
Now,
I think a lot of fathers make that mistake. Where they think they could compensate being a parent by just financially providing and not understanding that there's more into parenting. And I like what you said, Smith. So he probably thought that, I don't have to say much. I'm giving her all of the connections. She should be doing the right thing. Apparently she was busy getting knocked up by however many dudes. She has 4 kids. And study shows that I think if you're a single mother to one, there's a 60% chance you're gonna be a single mother to another dude. So I don't know, man. It's Dr. J. He kind of, I don't know, man. It's one of those things where.
And I'm sorry, Cash, but
go ahead, brother.
She also said that her kids are staying with friends.
Yeah.
So
like, where's the baby fathers?
They're not staying with their fathers.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? What are you doing, girl? What are you out here doing?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, because they got daddies. Why they staying with friends?
Because she makes bad choices.
Oh, yes. Okay. Because she makes bad choices. That's why. That makes sense.
But at the end of the day, once again, would this, even be a conversation if the sexes were changed?
If that's crazy, it would be definitely different.
It was a 38-year-old man going to his millionaire father for support, or if it was a 38-year-old man going to his mother for support, would the conversation still be the same?
Mm-hmm.
No, but it happens though. It happens though.
Yeah, but the society. But my whole thing is, why not hold her accountable for that same standard?
Well, the thing is Dr. Dre is an easy target.
Yeah,
he's just
obviously.
He's just an easy target. He's Dr. Dre. I'm pretty sure it happens to a lot of households where the father is a multi-millionaire and we just don't know who he is, but like, the spoiled child is trying to extract money somehow, in some ways. It's just that she has more of a capability of tarnishing his name because he's Dr. Dre.
Because he's Dr. Dre. But she could have probably did the beauty parlor thing. She could have
done a lot of shit.
I'm saying, but she could have probably tried these things and they didn't work out. And Dre like, yo, we don't know enough of the backstory.
Yeah. But here's the thing: isn't it partially the fact that society creates this beast by saying, well, women don't have to be held accountable to the same standard as men, even though we want to say, there's equality. They can get the same benefits as men, but they don't have to hold the same standards. They don't have to have the same penalties. So that's to me, that is one of the biggest problems I have with all this, is the fact of like, you want to go out there and do what you want to do, but you don't want to have any type of penalties or face any type of loss for your decisions.
She wanted to partying lifestyle. She 38 years old, man. That's all I'm gonna say. She 38.
That's all I'm gonna keep saying. That's all I'm gonna keep saying.
Yeah, like you 38. Like what the hell?
And you know what though? You know what that kind of sounds like too? Somebody was saying she was getting this bread since she was 28.
Nah, she was getting this bread until
she got to what age?
So she got this bread for a long time. Till she got to what,
until
38.
She was 28.
Yeah.
So that's so now she probably just taking that last 10 years worth of money, not doing shit with it except for slowly spending it, running out, and now you got to the point to where it's like, yo, shit, this nigga really ain't giving me nothing. Now I gotta, nah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, like her oldest
check was gonna keep coming.
Her oldest child is.
I'm gonna say one thing, right?
Go ahead, bro.
Dre came up with the beats, right? Dre sold that shit. She ain't trying to get no stock with her daddy in this time. Like, what the fuck is this girl really doing?
She ain't trying to get a job with her daddy.
Like, what is she really doing? She's 38. What is she really doing?
Yeah. See, I feel like
she could have took some of that money and invested, and she would be good. Like, come on, now, what is she really doing?
And you know what?
Sorry, go ahead, Cal.
She probably, and Dre probably also looking at it like, yo, I got you set up for when I'm gone. Yo, I'm not taking care of you no more while you alive. I'm not
while
doing
you alive, yeah. Because you gotta learn. So when I leave, you know that this shit don't come easy.
But my whole thing is, she's willing to work an assembly line at a factory. She's willing to work for Uber Eats. She's willing to rent a car for, that runs $2,300 for 3 weeks. Okay. All right. $2,300 for 3 weeks. So we're talking California prices. All right. Now, my whole thing is, you want to do all that. You ain't never go to your dad and say, yo, dad, can I just get a job? Can I work?
That's what I'm saying.
Earn a living with you? Because I doubt she'd be like, nah, but you can't get a job. I doubt he'd say that.
Yes. Hey, Black Zeus, Dad, I don't want you to pay me anymore. Just give me money, but I would like to come and work for you.
Yeah, what father's going to say, oh, hell no?
What father's going to say, no, you can't fucking work for me?
Because then that would show that you're being responsible. That shows you're not looking for a handout. That shows like, hey, you have integrity. Mm-hmm. But God forbid you go down that route. Instead, you want to say, well, I have $1 million father, but I'm broke. No, you should be like, I have $1 million father. He gave me a job. I'm working in a family company.
Of money.
You know what I mean? I'm working in a family business. That should be your goal, not just to get a check.
Yeah, bro. She ain't learned nothing from Empire.
Just saying.
Yeah, she learned how to party.
I'm just saying.
You got 4 kids.
Yeah.
And I'm going with the cash statistics. I don't know how many daddies you got, but you got 4 kids.
You got 4 kids.
Definitely ain't one daddy, because y'all ain't trying to work it out with 4 kids. So it ain't one daddy. We know that.
Yeah.
We know that.
The chances of all 4 kids, and there's only one perspective that she's given, which should raise an eyebrow to anybody to not just go with one story. There's his story, her story, and the truth. And unfortunately, social media tends to side with the vulnerable woman in this case. So it's like mob justice out there. All right, fellas, let's transition to the book. I hope you guys enjoyed the last 8 chapters. Let's get into the questions. We're just gonna go in chronological order as they came in. Hey, Black Zeus, you got 2. Which one you want to go with? The first one, second one?
Anything's fine by me.
All right. Let's go with the first one. According to chapter 9, boundaries. You are responsible for your own emotional well-being and not the emotional well-being of your lover. Encourage you and your lover to find a lover for each facet of your emotion. How can a relationship be considered whole if it's so splintered?
Great question.
Yeah. Who's willing to take a stab at this first question?
Let me reread it. I heard you read it. Let me just look at it though. Black Zeus. You're responsible for. You know what? I think the only way that really works, and I mean, he kind of touched on it. is she. Excuse
Don't
me.
mispronounce.
They.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. They just by, you're responsible for your own emotions, but in that you need to sort of like communicate that to your partner as well. So I think like taking sort of like ownership of your own emotions means like, dealing with them how you deal with it, but also expressing that to, expressing how you feel to whoever that may be, as opposed to just feeling like, well, you know what, if they really love me, they do X, Y, and Z, or they shouldn't do this because they know it's going to hurt my feelings. It's just, you're taking ownership of it. And part of taking that ownership means, having a conversation and expressing your feelings. That's what I kind of got out of it too. Because I know he kind of they kind of touched on it earlier in the book, where they're just saying like, you're responsible for your own emotions, and you can, if you feel jealous, it's like sort of like your fault. But then they kind of, in one of the chapters, I think it might have been chapter 12, they kind of elaborated on what they meant by that, as far as like, dealing with the feelings, going through it. Yeah, going through it. And part of it was having a conversation. So
here's where I have a conflict of interest in this, or a conflict of philosophies in this. It says that, you are responsible for your feelings, and your partner's responsible for theirs. You are not responsible for fixing their feelings. That's why I think you could apply that to pretty much any part of the relationship. So let's say you are not open with your partner and you cheat. Now your partner finds out, they're upset. And is it not your responsibility at all to like, make amends or make it right, or, make some sort of peace with your partner? Because their feelings are their feelings. If you make your partner feel uncomfortable, feel jealous because you are hooking up with somebody, you're hooking up with somebody that, let's say, they work with, from their job or something, and now they gotta every day see this person that you're hooking up with. They know that you're in a polygamous relationship, but they were fine with somebody they don't know, but now it's like their coworker or their boss or something. So you have no responsibility towards how they feel.
Well,
like,
I think there's a chapter that I will give credit to these authors, because I think they cover their asses in every question that we have in regards of polygamy. They kind of cover their asses, because I think chapter 14, I wrote it down somewhere. I think embracing conflict. They talked about that. They talked about how to have those conversations or it could have been romance through jealousy, when your partners or partners are feeling jealous, and how to go about having those conversations, and try to see if there's certain stipulations or certain things that you could put in place to safeguard those emotions, while still trying to be practicing this abundance of love that you're trying to. That's the conflict for me. It's just like,
that's where I'm just like,
it's like, okay, your
philosophies.
Yeah, that's where the conflict for me. But I think they did say that there's some sort of remedies that you could have to make sure that, those jealousies and stuff like that come in. And it kind of ties into my question. But I'm with you in your question, though. I don't think you could be whole in any relationship when you're splintered like that. Because one of the things that I found funny, and this is probably, and I should have bookmarked it, and one of the solutions that the authors gave was, well, if someone is jealous, talk about it, but that doesn't necessarily mean you stop what you're doing. But hold up, if I'm about to go smash Tiffany and you got problems with it, and I'm hearing you out in regards of your jealousy, and I'm still saying, I'm sorry you feel this way, but I'm still about to go smash Tiffany. All of that shit sounds fucked up to me. It's just like,
exactly.
I hear you being upset, but I still got arrangements with Tiffany that I can't break, because if I break it with her, now she's upset.
And that's what I'm saying, is that the philosophies conflict.
Yeah.
Like it seems good on paper.
Well,
but in reality, when we're dealing with humans and emotions,
yeah,
come on now, especially women,
Yeah.
And this is it's definitely the polyamorous lifestyle though. It's not for a monogamous relationship. You know, one of the things that I was keying on the book is basically was saying like monogamy equals depression and polyamory equals freedom.
Which is really bizarre to me.
Yeah, like monogamy is fine if you actually choose it, but then it still goes on to talk about how you're going to be so depressed being in this relationship. But that your question, I think it only really, I'm going back to the question 1 second. I think it only really replies to if you are in a polyamorous relationship, because it's still telling you that I shouldn't be concerned about Black Zeus's feelings. He got another level for that. You know what I mean? You got another level to worry about your feelings.
Yeah, but if every lover has that same philosophy, nobody's worried about your feelings.
Nobody's worried about, and look, and the polyamorous lifestyle. Check it out. Let me say this though. And the polyamorous lifestyle is supposed to be, or being an ethical slut, you're supposed to be caring and compassionate. So I'm already.
But you don't have to care. It's not your responsibility.
No, but in this lifestyle, I am, as being an ethical slut, I am supposed to care.
Yeah, you are caring. I think ultimately saying is, you know, you're not responsible for their jealousy or other emotions. You just got to talk to them about it.
Yeah, but the whole thing is they specifically said you don't have a responsibility to fix it. So you could just let them complain about it, but you don't have to do anything about it. So how is that supposed to remedy the situation, or how is that? You know what I mean? Like if you're not helping me,
they're trying to say that any relationship can work as long as everyone involved is clear about what they want and honest about their actual intentions.
Yeah, but obviously,
and I think that becomes difficult because you don't know, and you know it's kind of like be in a relationship with this other person, but don't fall in love with them. I forget what chapter that was in. It's like, but you don't know if you're going to fall in love. You don't know if that's going to be a love thing when you start getting involved with this person. And I'm like, okay. The polyamorous lifestyle and the monogamous lifestyle are definitely not one and the same.
Definitely not. But the funny thing is they try to blend it to where it's like, oh, we're married, you know, but we still have lovers. It's like, what? Isn't marriage a form of monogamy? You know, till death do you part for forsaking all others? Like, I don't understand.
Not in a polygamous marriage, I guess.
Like, how does that work? Like, is it really a marriage if you're polygamous? You know what I mean? If you're saying, hey, we you know, we're married on paper, we live together, own a home together, we have kids together, but outside of that, we're, you know, I just don't. I'm trying to understand, because it's taking two ideas and trying to blend them together when you know they're two separate ideas.
Well, that's because they never made that connection between the emotional and the sexual monogamy. They just use monogamy simply as the opposite of polyamory. You know what I mean? Like monogamy is just simply the opposite of this, and they wasn't talking it. They didn't talk about the monogamous lifestyle like they did the polyamorous lifestyle.
And then here's the other thing, right? When we start into chapter 15, agreements, right? When they're talking about in chapter 14, when they're talking about or 15, they're talking about agreements. One of the agreements is like, okay, you and I are married, but I have a long time lover on the side. So it's like, okay, so you and I are married, and you expect this other person to be monogamous to you, and only you, for some strange reason, you know. And then on top of that, that lover basically can't call on you, rely on you. If they're sick in the hospital or this, that, and the other, they need help, or they're going through some hardship. It's like, I'm with my husband, I'm with my wife. You know, like,
I'm with my wife. You're supposed to have another level for that.
Yeah.
Like,
y'all remember the story of the couple?
Side chick.
Yeah. The other couple where the dude was just like, the one agreement I have is to have her, like, because he travels, it's just like they gotta speak on the phone every night and they gotta talk about their relationships. I chuckled at that shit. I was like, there's no way in hell I could honestly be on the phone with you every night and you tell me about some other dude. It's just like, what's the point?
No, but or the other one where it's like, okay, one of the agreements, you must give 24-hour notice before you hook up with somebody, because that's how it happens. Like, how do you know I'm going to give you 24-hour notice today that I might meet some lady at the bar tomorrow, that me and her had a drink or two, and then we hooked up in the hotel room.
No, because it talks about that. You're supposed to not go out like that. You're supposed to talk with that person and then meet with them like 2 days later in a polyamorous lifestyle. You don't really go one night stands.
Because here's the thing. That's how one night stands work. Hey, I'm in town right now. I'm traveling. You're traveling.
You're sexy. I'm sexy.
Yeah, let's make this happen. Then throw the bone in the closet.
Let's be sexy.
It's not like let's schedule this. I'm free on Tuesday at 3:00. Like they actually said that in the book. Like where you can actually schedule hookups. Like that takes out the whole fun of a hookup.
Yeah, it does. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. It does.
Yeah, but that's the trade-off. Like, if this just gonna work, you gotta have them rules. Sort of like how they were saying last week with the whole scheduling. That shit comes along with the territory.
Oh, with the schedule.
Yeah, if it's too much to do, then they could be monogamous.
Yeah, but like we said before, last time we spoke about it, imagine your current relationship. You're married. All right, at 3:00 we're gonna have sex. At 4:00 we're gonna cuddle. At 5:00 we're gonna, bathe in the afterglow. Like, come on now, that's not how life works. That's not how real life works. A schedule for relationships and sex, like
the
dates,
one thing,
yeah, sure.
I think the thing is, when reading this book and we came across this chapter, making arrangements, I try to be open-minded because this was a similar discussion, not only from like last week, but like even the prior book, Mating in Captivity. People do that shit, even in monogamous relationship. So it's just like, I think, just to your question, I agree. I don't think you can ever be whole in any one relationship. And I think that's their whole point. I think their whole objective or their point of view is not one person can be whole for you. This is why you have multiple partners.
But that's what it talks about in the group love relationship.
Exactly.
You want to have one person that you're mostly emotionally committed to, not that you want to have life partnership or own a house with them or have kids with them. But you and that other person have the same lifestyle. And because you have that certain lifestyle, you're able to work it out together. You know what I mean?
Well, listen, maybe I'm just, too narrow-minded, but I'm just saying, like, how is that healthy? Like, the reality is, this whole...
It's not, because you always enjoy being with somebody more.
The reality is that monogamy is not perfect. You're always going to come short, right, on something. It's the 80-20 rule. You might get 80% what you want. There's 20% you're not going to get. Maybe your wife don't have a problem getting it on, but she's like, listen, I'm not doing no ATM type shit. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't doing no, whatever. All right. So, just something you got to learn to say, can I live without this? Just like any other thing in life. You're not going to get everything you want. But to say yourself, I'm going to spread myself thin. This person I'm going to get my emotional support from. This person I'm going to get my kink from. This person I'm going to make love with. This person I'm going to get good conversation from. This person, like, that is, I can't see how that could possibly work in a real world.
Well, if I take one thing from their lifestyle and I communicate better with whoever it is that I'm currently dating or trying to date, then I possibly could get all the things that I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I like my dick sucking my ass lick. Are you willing to do that? No. Okay, well, let me slide down to the next end of the bar. Like, this is what the book is saying now. The book is saying,
yeah, it is saying that. Yeah,
that's what it's saying.
Yeah, like,
otherwise,
I'm into BDSM, like, and you could say,
like the one story where the married woman is like, I like daddy-daughter stuff. So she's got a side dude for the daddy-daughter stuff.
For the daddy-daughter stuff,
yeah. They watch Disney movies together, and then they get kinky together. I'm like, that's some bizarre-ass shit.
That's some...
Yeah, it's bizarre. Everyone got their own kinks. All right, next question up. Mr. Henry, how does the way in which your family deal with conflict, jealousy, anger, relationship issues, and hard times growing up compared to how you deal with conflict as an adult?
So with this question, I felt like it's not in full. So here's the thing. I'll give you using myself as an example.
Oh, okay.
My family is Caribbean, and Caribbeans are blunt. All right, Caribbeans are blunt as hell. You know, they just say what it is, no filter, how they feel, what they feel in the moment, family or not, it does not matter. It's just what it is. And that has caused a lot of arguments in my family. That has caused a lot of fights in my family and this, that, and the other. But after the arguments and the fights and everything, we always remember that family's the most important thing, and we always come back together. That being said, when I got to a relationship with my wife, I'm coming from a Caribbean background. I'm blunt. I'm direct. She comes from a very uppity, upper class life of like, we don't talk about these things and just brush it underneath the rug. Mm-hmm. So it was a conflict, a major conflict, because it's like she doesn't talk about things and I'm blunt about shit. We're night and day. So we had to find a compromise. So instead of me being blunt and direct, now when we have conflict, I send her a well-worded text message that she can read, where she's not directly facing the confrontation, and she can, get a chance to get her thoughts together and respond in a way that she feels comfortable with and clear about it. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, shoot, where's your timeout spot? Or your cool down spot? Did my man say you need to have like a cool down spot? Is it?
The gym.
The gym.
Well, they say you got to take like 20 minutes or so to just relax and think about your feelings and calm down and shit.
Why you think I got a heavy bag at home?
You got it.
Yeah, I think that I don't deal with it how my family actually still deals with some of the conflict. I think wanting to be different and wanting to be better, and wanting to be more in a conflict resolution mind state, it allows me to deal with the conflicts differently. So, like Black Zeus said, sometimes the family didn't talk about certain conflicts. They would sweep them under the rug. And then you would have other family members that would be just that blunt and would bring it right up to the forefront, or bring it right to the table at Thanksgiving and shit. And other people wanted to keep it quiet. But I think my thing in dealing with it is, from us doing a lot more reading and all of that stuff, it just allows me to deal with conflict differently, and approach it differently. You know what I mean? So I don't think any of the way that my family dealt with it growing up compares now to how I deal with it. And I don't think it'll compare to how my children deal with it, because I can actually teach them how to deal with conflict resolution. And one of the things that it was saying, and I always told you, this, Kel, I use this shit, the yes questions and shit. The I part, the I conflict, when it's like, hey, I don't like the way that you approach me when you're angry, because it makes me feel like I've been doing that shit for more than 20 years. So, you know what I mean? That's like just shit that I teach kids, like in general. But definitely not the way that my family used to deal with it, especially when I know my mother and father was together and I would actually see them fight with some of the conflict. So that's not how I ever dealt with the situation in my marriage. So.
All right, fuck it. I'll jump in. I don't think it's the same either. You know what? Honestly, I didn't really realize how, like, my mom per se dealt with conflict until I was like an adult. She was sort of like reflecting on like even like her marriage with my stepfather. So I kind of took some of it as like a lesson learned. Not all the stuff of what not to do, but just like even more so, just like, okay, if I ever get in that situation, now I know how I'm going to respond. And like Smith, to touch on your point, like the fact that we do read more, I don't know if that's different as a culture, because there's always been books. I think they even, and I think I wrote that shit down. They referenced a book in this book that talked about how to talk to your spouse, the intimate enemy, or some shit like that. Right? Intimate. So like the literature has always been there. The outlets have always been there.
Yeah, that was one of the books that they said it was written.
Were
they haven't utilized them
at that time, though? Yeah, were they being seeked at that time? It's kind of like the same thing back then. You got to remember, we also wasn't talking to psychiatrists and therapists. You know what I mean? And now more people that look like us talk to psychiatrists and therapists. So there was a whole another component to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, unfortunately, I kind of look at a lot of the stuff that my elders do as sort of like a lesson learned. I think that sucks and it's like a flaw, but to answer the question bluntly, Frank, directly, no, I don't really deal with conflicts the same. Well, I would say I probably do. Just more so because my mom has an issue. She is sort of straightforward and says stuff. But when it comes to like relationship, maybe not so much.
Okay. For me, I kind of not in regards of the principle in regards to like how I deal with conflict is relatively the same. My mom always raised me to communicate my issues, regardless. I think the only thing that I did differently than her, and you kind of touched on it, Smith, is the therapy session. I think when I started to get therapy when I was a teenager dealing with anger management, I picked up on better ways of communicating. Mm-hmm. So like, but yeah, like my wife would tell you, like, we don't go to bed angry. Like when she first met me, she was just like, you're the first guy who's willing to communicate to the extent you're willing to communicate. And that's because that's just my mom. Like, she didn't let me do things without me verbalizing why I was doing certain things. Now, was her approach was always good? Nah, sometimes her approach was horrible, but the essence in regards of communication was always something that she instilled in me. So like, yeah, nothing really much changed in regards to like how I deal with conflict. I always felt like for me, I had to communicate it because I can't necessarily let that have that chatter do too much damage at some point.
Yeah, and the only ones that I would generally see would probably be anger, and more of the hard times.
Yeah.
Not necessarily looking at the conflict of jealousy. That's something that, you would actually have to talk to your parents about, or your family about jealousy, because you don't know how that comes across.
All right.
And possibly relationship issues too.
Have fun.
Yeah. All right.
Can somebody mute this nigga, please?
Yeah, I was about to say who that. But.
Listen, I'm saying goodbye to my wife and kid. They're going parasailing.
Yeah, bro, you could do it. Just put yourself on mute.
Mute you. You still talking? I'm done. My
they going parasailing.
It was 2 seconds.
I wonder how many times Dr. Dre took his daughter parasailing.
Oh shit, we going back to that.
Well, technically, Smith, Schubert is the father, and he ain't taking his kid parasailing. They going
but by extension he is though. By extension, he is. But by extension, he is because he took him somewhere where he could get that experience.
No, I think Schubert touched
on it. Whereas Dr. Dre, to be honest, Dr. Dre just didn't do much of anything except for give financial support.
I know.
From what we know from this woman's perspective. For all we know, and Dre probably would never talk about.
Leave Dre alone. I was just talking about this boy parasailing while he's sitting by a tennis court.
I didn't know they had a weight limit. They got a weight limit. Schubert, you excused. Fuck.
Hey, listen, don't act like I'm not a full-time daddy, okay? Yesterday we did the beach, we did the pool, we barbecue.
Hey man, I be seeing the pictures. Hey, Kelvin don't see the pictures when you doing the PSAs and shit.
I do. I see the pictures. I see guys his Instagram page. Quick fun fact. I thought Black Zeus just made up his name for this fucking podcast. This nigga's been Black Zeus since like
that nigga name is Black Zeus.
He said it though. You don't be paying attention.
I said that too. I was like, oh, this motherfucker. I thought he just did that with a podcast. This motherfucker name is really Black Zeus.
He said it, bro. He said it a while ago.
Hey, why didn't you call yourself Black Adam? You know who Black Adam is? They're about to do the superhero movie. That'd be a good one to take your son to. But I was like, this motherfucker name really is Black Zeus. I thought he did that for the podcast. This motherfucker.
No, actually, it was funny when Kel came to my house and saw it on the Peloton.
For real.
That's why I respected it. I was just like, all right, Black Zeus. Because he shared an Instagram way back last year. And
I ain't pay attention to it.
And I saw it.
I saw that recently, like Kel did. I saw it on something I was looking at, and I was like, "Oh, this is my favorite."
For real,
the man is Black Zeus, bro. All right, next question. In chapter 13, the authors give several solutions to discuss someone's jealousy. Is there a breaking point where the polygamous lifestyle is too overbearing? Can jealousy be justified when living this lifestyle?
So, second part, yes, jealousy can be justified when living this lifestyle, even though you're not supposed to get jealous in this polyamorous lifestyle. But jealousy becomes if you have not communicated the expectations, all right? If you have not established your rules and agreements and your boundaries, then jealousy can come into place. However, they said something in the book talking about love, and I'm saying, again, I was referring to it earlier. How are you having sex with this person? Or you start, she said she fell 50% in love with somebody that she was emailing.
Yes.
From the thought process. She already felt 50% in love with this motherfucker before they got to the sex part, right? So now I'm already falling 50% in love with this person. And I never even really met this person just besides online. And I already have another lover that I'm 100% in love with. How am I splitting this love? Again, it goes back to what Black Zeus said earlier. How was it split here? But I'm going to go back to the first part of the question. Jealousy. Okay, authors give several solutions to discuss someone's jealousy. Their breaking point with it. Yeah, I think there will be a breaking point. I think there would be a breaking point just because I'm thinking, like, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, you know, as I've just been divorced and everything, I'm saying, damn, would I like a polygamous lifestyle? You know what I'm saying? That shit seems overbearing in itself. The lifestyle itself seems overbearing. The lifestyle itself seems like I'm basically being a whore, but I'm trying to justify myself being a whore by communicating with people about why I'm being a whore. So that whole part in itself kind of takes a little bit of the intelligence from this shit that I'm reading away, because I'm looking at it and I'm saying, all right, so generally you all know how this goes, right? You all love your wives. You all have wives. But if you were stepping outside of your wives and talking to another female, at some point, if you're talking to this female for a duration of a time, you're going to develop a certain love for this female.
Mm-hmm.
Like, unbeknownst to anybody, it's going to be there. You're not going to tell me that you have no feelings for this girl and you've been messing with her for 3 years. You're not going to tell me you're just there for the sex. You passed the sex. You could have had this sex and wham, bam, thank you, man, I've been on your way. You know what I mean? Got on your bike and kept pedaling. But you decided to stay around and you're there and you develop relationship. You develop a love. So how, again, are you going to have this love? I think that polygamous lifestyle is, so I got 5 different people. And I'm feeling some kind of way because, like you said, I'm in a hospital and now my lover can't come and see me because they're with their lover. But I got 5 different lovers, but none of them could come see me. Yeah. I think that shit becomes overbearing. But I never lived a polygamous lifestyle. I've done the going out with more than one girl at a time. I don't know if that's what you would call a polygamous lifestyle. You know, I'd call it just being a fucking
You're
dude.
a playboy. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't call it necessarily
no
polygamous lifestyle. Yeah, I was just a slut. But I wasn't an ethical slut because I wasn't concerned about the other people's feelings at that time. You know what I mean?
But you don't have a responsibility to their feelings.
Yeah, the other lovers do. But I'm still supposed to communicate with them
but you weren't in a committed relationship. I think the difference is you weren't in a committed relationship with these women.
Yeah, that's the part. That's the part.
Like you weren't committed to these women.
But what is it? How do we define a committed relationship once we have this polygamous lifestyle comes in? Once again, we're going
that rules varies, bro. That's your agreement. That is all up to you. It's like marriages. Some people got open marriages. Some people got, monogamous marriages. That monogamous is your, agreement.
That's your agreement. But then you also have what you would consider those boundaries. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot with the polygamous lifestyle. I think that shit is, again, I think it's overbearing. Do I think that it could be fun? It probably could be fun for a minute. But if any of you ever juggle just 2 or 3 females at one time, you know that shit is not always fun.
Hey, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just not always fun. That shit becomes overbearing. You know what I mean? It becomes a lot. It becomes, you don't necessarily have to keep a Google schedule, but it still becomes a lot to deal with.
Definitely a lot for a dude. You got to pay all those dates, pay attention to all these chicks.
Yeah.
Versus a chick, it's the other way around. It's like, oh, you got 3 dudes paying for you. You got 3 dudes buying you stuff. You got 3 dudes paying attention to you. Shoot. But anyway.
Especially for the dude, Black Zeus. Especially for the dude. So I'm not trying to go out with 5 different females and I'm one of their, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm their dinner meal. They get other dudes to get the breakfast meal and the lunch meal, but I'm their dinner meal. Because I got cousins that go out like that. You know what I mean? She's like, no, this dude takes me out on Monday. I go out with this dude on Tuesday. I'm like, for real? She's like, yeah, I eat free every week.
Damn, that must be nice.
I said, you sleep with these dudes? No. I go out with them and, get my food.
I've heard plenty of chicks say that before.
Yeah. Keep it moving.
I've heard chicks say they go out on a date with a dude that pushed up on them that they have no interest in, just so that they can get that.
No interest in, so they can get the meal in a doggy bag. Keep it straight.
Hold on. Are these dudes much older dudes, though? Or are they younger dudes? Real quick.
They're both.
I don't know. I don't know the ages of.
Yeah, they're both.
Okay. Because I can see older dudes doing some shit like that. You older, you just happy to get a young tenderoni on your arm. So, A
younger dude that spent cash, you spent money.
Yeah, I was gonna say I spent
like we all done it. Like
but younger dudes, it's like if you were a chick trying to finesse multiple dudes for things, going in dealing with the younger dude that's
as a younger dude, you don't know that shit, Cash.
You don't know
You don't know as a younger dude.
I'm talking about from the female perspective. I'm talking about from the female perspective. She knows that she's gonna have to give it up to the younger dude, whereas the older dude,
she doesn't know. No, that's where you gotta twist it.
You really gotta twist it.
She strings him along and never gives it up to him ever.
Exactly.
And there's some older dudes who might think like, yo, I might not get it. I just like the companionship of a young tenderoni. There are some older dudes like that. That's what I'm saying.
At the end of the day, that chick knows that she can get what she wants.
Guess what, guys? Like we just talked about, that chick is not concerned about your fucking feelings. She just there to get her meal.
Yeah.
She ain't giving a fuck about your feelings and how you feel. And, I think I just for the companionship. She don't give a fuck about all that. I'm here for the meal.
Yeah.
I got my meal. I'm out.
All right, let's bring it back to the question.
Yeah, it's fucked up, but you married, bro. You good. You married, bro. You good.
Kel, you was about to say something, bro?
Yeah, I think that the jealousy I don't think the jealousy is justified. Excuse me. If after you've had that conversation, as far as like expressing your feelings, I don't know. I think it's kind of hard when you signed up for this deal and it's just like, yo, okay, you feeling jealous. But again, like how you said earlier, Cass, but I'm still going out with homegirl. Yo, this is what you signed up for. So do I think it could reach a breaking point? I say yes. Some people might feel like, dang, this is too much. This isn't what I thought it was going to be. But nobody really knows what that breaking point is until you actually get to it. I don't think they really, people probably feel like, shit, well, I thought that I could do this, but I really can't. So I think the jealousy is, I can't even say that the jealousy is justified, or I can't. Not if this is something that you signed up for.
So they had a song that said, but you said you love me. Why are you doing me like this? I love you.
Once you start feeling that jealousy, honestly, if it ain't something you could get past, you just need to go on and bounce before you complain too much. Because again, this is something that you signed up for. Like, yo, how are you complaining about some shit where we both, like, you knew what it was coming in?
Yeah.
You got to be a cold-hearted motherfucker to really do that, though, bruh.
Nah,
I'm serious.
I'm
serious. No, you got to listen to what I'm saying. Because most people, male, female, don't care about your gender, don't care about your, transgender, whatever. Most people, if you spend X amount of time with somebody, you're going to develop a certain relationship with that person. Mm-hmm. That's just like DNA 101 type shit. It happens. It's chemical reactions in us, endorphins, that shit happens, and we fucking like this person. So
you hear that from women all the time.
Although I'm dating Cash, Black Zeus, and Henry, I still love Cash more than I love Black Zeus and Henry. and I get jealous. I don't get jealous when when Black Zeus and Henry do certain shit, but I get jealous when Cash do certain shit because I really love this motherfucker, even though I wasn't supposed to get caught up in my feelings.
But Smith, when you even think about that whole idea of that whole polygamy, whether you want to take it to the pimp status, where you got the bottom chick, or even with the polygamy with them Mormons in Utah, there really is only one legal wife. Everybody else is just like the number twos.
Yep.
So, like, I'm going to love all of y'all, but I understand this is my number one.
You're telling me none of the number twos are ever jealous, is what you're saying.
They understand it. No, they are.
The number twos are ever jealous.
They are, but you understand. Yeah, but they gotta understand. This is what you signed up for.
Okay, but
you already knew you wasn't number one.
I hear all that, but that don't stop me from being jealous.
So now I'm cold, but I'm not cold-hearted though. But you ain't.
It won't stop me from being jealous, even though I know that I'm not number one.
But the dude's not cold.
Jealous. I'm human.
But the person ain't cold-hearted. The husband who got the wives, or the wife who has the husbands, if it's like, this is what you signed up for. Yes, jealousy might come into play, but I'm not fucking changing my mind because you feel jealous. I'm not cold-hearted. This is what you signed up for. Cold-hearted is like,
the person who is feeling jealous needs to be cold-hearted in order not to feel jealous.
Oh, they need to be cold-hearted.
Hey, yo.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm sending y'all a 1 minute clip too, because this Black Zeus boy, my fault, Black Zeus. I was supposed to send this shit to your ass yesterday. Hey, Black Zeus, you ain't got no table to smack, do you?
Actually, the one that the laptop is on.
All right, when you get that video, look at that video. Don't look at it now, but it's your boy. You know who it is?
I don't think I want to know.
Take a wild guess.
Umar Johnson.
Oh, Slappy. Is that Slappy?
I like Black Zeus because exactly Black Zeus. You knew exactly who the fuck I was talking about. So I went to a block party yesterday, and my man was speaking for like 2 hours.
He was in Newark?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out. You should have hit me up. I'd have came to that shit.
Oh, shit. My bad, dog.
Like, Umar, you don't like snow bunnies?
Nah. Yo, he was down there like, and fuck that vaccine. Them white devils trying to get you. I was like, this motherfucker.
Wow. They gave him that platform to say that?
This motherfucker tripping.
I'm surprised, they didn't yank the mic from him?
Bruh. Yo, that motherfucker, no. They gave that motherfucker another mic because he ran one out. Hey, yo, real talk, that motherfucker said, yeah, and I got a book for $50. I'm selling this book for $50. You can get an autograph right now. He said, I got letters. Don't let your child be in ADHD. Don't let your child get this drugs and all that shit. All that shit I was with all that shit.
Yeah,
like 4 or 5, don't let your child get diagnosed and shit because I know that shit in school. Before 8, don't let your child get diagnosed. It ain't got no fucking behavior issues, all that shit. But yo, I thought about you, Black Zeus, and I said, I got to record a little bit of this shit for Black Zeus because that's his boy.
Bruh, you should have hit me. I'd have been down here like Dr. Umar. My t-shirt, I would have probably put a mark and said, I love snow bunnies on my shirt just to get a rise out of him.
Free as hell, too. It was free as hell.
I'd have just to get a rise out of him. Like, I love me some snow bunnies.
That too.
Yo,
it was funny because I love
it. How about a t-shirt that says Snow Bunnies Matters?
He was like, and don't let the white people tell you. And I'm like, all right, you going to go there, huh? Hey, yo, you know what I didn't realize, though?
Man, hey, Smith, can we get to your question?
We can. I just want to say this. I didn't realize old dude is like 6'4".
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's tall.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that.
He's tall. Did everyone answer?
Go ahead, you go to the question.
So is he just a tall piece of shit? That's all.
Black Zeus, what your thoughts on the question before we jump into Smith? Can jealousy be justified when living a polygamous lifestyle? And is there a breaking point to living the polygamous life? Is it
Here's the reality. It sounds good on paper. Like, oh, you already know you in this polygamous lifestyle. You shouldn't be jealous. Logically, that all sounds good. Reality of the way the human mind and heart works and how we get the things we get mad about don't make sense. The things that we get jealous about don't make sense. They're not logical. So to say that your emotions should be 100% logical or justified is is a false dichotomy.
Mm.
It's just, that in itself is retarded.
Yeah.
All right, emotions are not intellectual. Emotions are simply emotions. That's why we're not supposed to let our emotions lead us.
Yeah, very irrational. That's for damn sure. I just couldn't. And for me, I'm just gonna answer the first question. I just think that when she got into like the anecdotal stories of people, I don't know if these people were real people or not. I just felt like, yo, there's no way in hell can I ever be comfortable with you telling me that you got X, Y, and Z lined up for XYZ days. Like, for me,
Yeah.
I logically can't wrap my head around anybody who's willing to play second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. The way they're talking about abundance, I'm like, yo, at this rate, you like 10th on the wheel and shit. And it's just like, I just feel like for me, I don't understand how anybody don't feel like they should not be at least in the top two in relationships. It's just, I don't know, man.
But are you really though?
I was about to say, but your will got 10 also.
You always got to think that, let's say your two lovers each got two lovers, their two lovers got two lovers. That branch just keeps growing and growing.
Unless it's the community, like Smith pointed out. Like, unless you got that community sharing shit.
That cult shit. Okay.
Yeah. Like, your wife, my wife, Henry's wife, and Smith and his Japanese girl. Are you still with us, Smith?
Nah, anyway, another story. Yeah, we still talking stuff.
Yeah,
but,
like if it's some communal shit amongst us four, it's just like, yo, that's some tribes work like that. All right, let's get into
you just have that tribe.
Yeah, all right, let's get into Smith's question. What can monogamous people learn from the ways that non-monogamous communities talk about and manage jealousy? I love this question.
You should go ahead, Cash, but you shouldn't get too.
Nah, because I'm just trying to sort my thought. Yeah, I'm trying to sort my thought out because the way she talked about communication is to what Black Zeus has been saying throughout today's podcast. Mm-hmm. It's like, yes, logically, you should be able to have these open conversations and there shouldn't be this sort of hiccups, but like people are irrational. People's behaviors are, erratic, and, to say one thing and do one thing is different from how things actually develop itself. And while I do commend the polygamous, non-monogamous people out there and the way they seem to have this open, free conversation, it's almost to what you said. Like, there's a part of you got to be cold-blooded, just like, yo, I hear what you're saying, but yo, this is the situation where it's like when you're in a monogamous relationship, you got to tiptoe around these emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You really got to tiptoe around these emotions. And it feels like in a non-monogamous, polygamous lifestyle, there isn't any tiptoeing. It's like, yo, you straight up blunt on how things are. So like, I kind of like the straightforwardness that these two ladies are presenting. I just don't feel like it's practical because, like Schubert said, these emotions are irrational. And it's just like me saying like, yo, I hear you, but I'm still going to go fuck Tiffany. Ain't going to fly with some in a monogamous relationship. Like, I hear you, but I'm still going to clear out the bank account so I could invest in Bitcoin and to do what I want.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm finding so many contradictions in all of this. Love is abundant, but you should be comfortable being by yourself. And don't expect, your feelings, are important, but don't expect anybody to pay attention to them. You should be very loving to another person and caring to another person. But if they feel jealous because they love you and care about, then that's their problem. It's like there's so many conflicting philosophies in this. I'm like, how is this ever supposed to really hold water? How? Like, there's no consistency in all of this. None. Every time they come out with one philosophy, the next one contradicts it. But yet you're supposed to find a balance in this?
Yeah, you're supposed to find some kind of balance. I just think that the only thing is, like Cash was saying, is just the open, more of an open line of communication. The other part, though, like, we're in a relationship and we're in a monogamous relationship. I don't know how jealous you're getting because I don't know what vibes I'm sending off to make you jealous about something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I think my wife did show a sense of jealousy at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw that in her face. She never talked about it, and I never asked her about it. But I think I saw it in her face when we were at a party one time. But I think, again, the whole thing is about the communication and letting somebody know. And I think that's the only thing you really can learn. And it's not just about being blunt. It's just about, having a conversation. The best way to make a relationship work is to just have that open communication. You know what I mean? And I think that's what it is. I think that's the only thing that you can learn is to be open. All that other shit, like Zeus just said, there's too many mixed messages. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
mixed messages.
I think along with that too, it's just learning that even after you express your feelings, shit still might not go your way.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I could definitely learn because, even though it's just my like I only have to take my wife's feelings into account. She only has to take mine into account. Mm-hmm. That don't necessarily mean that, after you express whatever feelings, that shit is still going to go your way. So I can say that's one thing that I learned, as far as how they deal with the whole concept of jealousy.
Yeah, but taking your wife, that would be different. So I have this wife, right? And I want to have this conversation with my wife about how she's giving me fellatio because I don't like it. Do we have that relationship? Are we willing to have that conversation? Or do I feel like I'm going to hurt her feelings if I approach this conversation? How do I approach the conversation? So that's what I'm saying. That whole, the thing that monogamous people can learn from the non-monogamous community is just having that open conversation, just being open, you know what I mean? Being honest. And it might not work out how you think it'll work out, but you don't know unless you say something. And I would rather get something off my chest than to be like, yo, I really want to tell my wife I don't like when she gives me fellatio because that shit is weird when she does it. Like, she's not doing it right or something. You know what I mean? And it's not that she's my wife, she's going to kiss my kid. She just ain't doing it right. Yeah. You know what I mean? So,
listen, at the end of the day, that's nothing different than any marriage counselor would tell you, whether you're monogamous or polyamorous.
Or polyamorous, yeah.
Is that communication is key. The whole thing is there's nothing really that I'm seeing that really translates into a monogamous relationship that isn't already communicated or already expected in a monogamous relationship. It's not like people in monogamous relationships, they're like, what? We should talk about our feelings to one another? Get out of here. Be vulnerable to one another? No. We never tried that. Really?
Well, I think the difference is, and I don't know if it's admirable, but the difference is because you live in this polygamous lifestyle, non-monogamous lifestyle, you're stretched thin depending on how many partners you are. So you don't have time to waste in regards of playing the guessing game as to like, how is he feeling? How is she feeling? Like, you got to get at some point straight to the point. Whereas when we were reading Mating in Captivity, people were monogamous, living in fucking horrible relationship for years. Like, I don't think that's happening in a polygamous lifestyle. I don't think you're hiding your feelings for that long of a time frame before shit doesn't boil over. So that's the one thing I do give the polygamous non-monogamous. It's just like, if you're feeling something, that shit got to be ASAP. Like, it got to be ASAP. It got to be ASAP. Whereas people in a monogamous relationship, they let shit foster for so long that you're in year 5 of your marriage and you just you're now discovering some shit that you should have discovered 5 years ago.
When I got divorced, when I was going through my divorce and my wife was telling me that she wanted a divorce, she brought up something that was like from 4 or 5 years ago. She was like, one day I heard you talking to a girl and I heard you say babe. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, the fuck are you even talking about? Why didn't you say something then? Like, who was I talking to? You know what I mean? Because Not for nothing, I would never be as silly as to talk in the house on the phone to another chick if I'm dipping out on you. But at the end of the day, why didn't you say anything at that point? You know what I mean? So the basic tenets of the communication in the polyamorous lifestyle are communication. That's how you strengthen your core relationship. They give you little exercises to help you open up and give you stuff to help you discuss. And maybe those exercises could work because some of them I told you they were couple orientated, Cash.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them, I was able to do. But it's more so it's still that more so the concept of them agreements and them rules. It's agreements rather than the rules, and that's easy for people to deal with. Rules is I don't want you to see somebody else. Agreement is you can see somebody else, but be mindful of how you're interacting with that person because I don't want you to fall in love with them. You know what I mean? I don't mind you being with them, but I don't want you to fall in love with you because we share a bond of love between the two of us.
But the whole thing is once again. These are not the rules of polyamorous or polygamous lifestyle. These are the rules that these two women are putting in their place. But polyamorous relationships not necessarily plays by these rules. There's a lot of people who are in these rules. But the whole thing is the fact of they may not necessarily play by all of these rules. Where it's like, if you feel jealousy, speak on it. If you this, that, and the other, speak on it. This, that, and the other. Like it may not necessarily be that way. For a lot of other relationships, you know what I mean?
But that's why they were talking about.
The whole thing is they're saying that this is what we think you should do. You got to remember, this comes from the perspective of the writer. There's no gospel about this. This is coming from two people who have actually lived this life and think, hey, I've seen these problems. Here's how we can here's solutions to them.
Yeah.
But they're not saying they don't talk about the rules because they tell you that the rules. No, but they tell you that the rules are begged to be broken. When you have rules, those are begged to be broken. But agreements are flexible, easy, and negotiable. That's why you have an agreement, because an agreement you can negotiate with.
I get that, but what I'm saying is this idea
a rule
of the agreement
is this standard.
The idea,
we were talking about the
ideas and concepts.
The mandate, it is this. That's it. But an agreement is flexible, and we can negotiate, and we can come to another agreement about our agreement. You know what I mean? A rule is 1 + 1 is 2. That's a rule.
The ideas and concepts in this book are pretty much proprietary to this book. They're not universal, and they're basically taking the same ideas and concepts that you would apply to any monogamous relationship or has been, and spreading it in a group setting. There's nothing new about these ideas. They're just applying it to a group setting.
No, there's nothing new about the idea.
So that's why I'm just like, I can't really get anything from this to apply to my monogamous relationship because these are already things I've been practicing in my monogamous relationship.
Nah, you're absolutely right. In regards of what you could learn, yes, like the rules, those principles apply in monogamous relationship anyways. But what I personally think is, and this is not necessarily me coming from a place of knowing people in this lifestyle, but from the sense of how these authors are presenting it, because your time is limited with each individual, I don't think you have the space to essentially play these sort of manipulative games with every single one of these people. So therefore, you got to be honest, you got to be truthful. Whereas you're in a monogamous relationship, you could string along one person for so long, and not be honest and stuff like that. Whereas like, if you're saying something to Tiffany one day and, it conflicts with what you're telling with Jennifer and these women know each other, that's going to reveal itself.
Yeah. It's still like,
so
like your bullshit,
none of it is new.
Yeah, none of it is new, but your bullshit will be revealed quicker. Like you can't
be. They did have two new concepts, because I would never have scheduled a fight with my wife, my ex-wife. That was a new concept for me. The win-win idea.
Awesome. If we
went out again. But the whole thing is that what I was saying.
And I scheduled a fight with your significant other. I doubt that you have, because who the fuck is going to schedule a fucking fight? But, and I also understand a part of trying to schedule the sex if you have kids, or I never did that in my life. I never scheduled sex. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? That's not that seems unnatural to me.
Just remember the fact
that just seems unnatural
their
to me.
Statements. Just look at the statement of monogamy is depression and polygamy is freedom. Just that alone is a crock of shit. Because we know plenty of we just buried my wife's grandmother, who had died at 97. Her husband died at 91. Okay, and the whole thing is, this woman was heartbroken when her husband was gone. Okay, and she had been with him all her freaking life. They wanted to be cremated and buried together at the lake and everything, in the same spot underneath some oak tree and everything. You know what I mean? Like, we know plenty of monogamous relationships that have been very happy, have been very successful, just like we know some relationships have failed. And in this day and age, divorce rates are a 50-50 kind of a thing, where 50% of marriages end up in failure, but there's still 50% of marriages that are doing well. To say that monogamy is depression, but yet polygamy is freedom, is a load of shit, because they're not presenting any of the negative issues, or if anyone's feeling depressed, unloved, broken because of these polygamous relationships, they're only presenting all the best aspects that can be.
I think they are. I think they're conflict resolution. I think they are presenting the conflicts that could arise in a polygamous marriage. They're
situation, they're fixable.
But they're
what, though?
Fixable. Go ahead, Kelvin. You've been silent.
I think some of that shit is kind of overlooked, though, because we could say that we learned how to be blunt and express our jealousy, but a lot of people in monogamous relationships do the same shit, honestly. So, like, I don't necessarily, I'm with you on that shit as far as the whole monogamy is depression and polygamy is freedom. I think they're kind of taking some of the beliefs even further than just the idea of, I get more than one partner. But, like, you can still love other people. You can still share a lot of the similar beliefs as far as, like, caring for other people and how you treat other people in a monogamous relationship. So I don't really agree that shit is a freedom either. Fellas, I'm out because I'm on the road and I don't want to. I can still stay on. It's just I ain't gonna be able to say. I'll hang out for a little bit longer.
Nah, I think
we don't need you to look at the camera, Henry. You can hear. We don't need you to look at the camera, dude.
Yeah, we don't need to look at your lips.
Yeah, we don't need to see you. You still trying to see.
I know you ain't talking about some lips and shit. All right, I'm gonna call my moms real quick.
Nah, that's why I brought it up. I get that. I truly get the issue with the statement in regards of monogamy being depression and being non-monogamous being freedom. But this is off the cuffs of us reading Mating in Captivity and Esther Patel talking about how a lot of people feel imprisoned in their marriage. So yeah, so like that doesn't fall short on me. And then like I shared my experiences in regards of when I was getting ready to when I proposed or to my wife, every single dude told me not to do it because they felt like, because they assumed that I was going to be in a monogamous relationship, they just assumed that the shit is just going to be miserable. So it's just
I'm back, nigga. I'm back. That's a lie, bro. I ain't tell you not to do it.
But I said a lot of dudes.
You said every single.
Okay, correction. I retract that. Correction. Well, a lot of I'll go back. I'll see what I said in the recording. But nonetheless, the majority of dudes I spoke to spoke about marriages in such a negative light that they made it sound like a prison sentence. So it's just like it's not a far-fetched concept for the authors to say marriage is depression when you do have people who view marriages as this long-term jail sentence, whether or not we disagree with it, but that's by and large how it's often seen.
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't think that people find it necessarily depressing. It's more of the restrictions that come with it. When you're single, you do as you please, when you please, how you please. You ask no one, you tell no one, you respond to no one. Once you get into a marriage, you have restrictions of of how to move. You got to talk to someone. You got to have open conversation. You got to have agreements, as we call them. Polygamy is no different. According to what she's saying, you got to have agreements. You got to have these conflicts. You got to deal with justice. You got to deal with this, that, and that. So it's just more of instead of you have restriction to one person, you have restriction to multitude.
No, but there's a difference though. Like for instance, like let's say my wife likes to go to museums. Let's just say I despise going to museums. She could have a partner that meet that while there is agreements and rules she still had that partner to fill that void.
But why does that partner?
No, she can't, dog.
Hold on,
if I'm in a
no, wait, let me get cash on this because this is
because
if
if I'm in a marriage and I'm just not willing to bend to those things, but we're communicating, but I'm not willing to bend to those things. Now she's confined in this marriage, whereas you're in this polygamous lifestyle. You could find these multiple partners within the agreement of these people, and you could still have certain needs met where that makes you whole.
Exactly, because if Cash's wife goes out with me because he's not into the art, but I am, that creates a situation with him. You understand?
Exactly.
But in the polygamous lifestyle, it doesn't create it because
if she's trying to have companionship for these events, and I'm not willing to bend to that, that's a void that she's not having.
Friend. That's just called having a friend. Like, nigga, this shit that my wife don't like doing, and she does it that I don't like doing. That nigga,
dude,
that my
but
wife
so Henry, pause, everybody pause.
Okay,
so
everybody pause.
She can do this with a male friend.
I was about to go there, Smith. I was about to go there.
No, it's a yes or no question, bruh. It's a yes or no question.
If all they doing,
you keep saying if all they doing. No. See, you keep saying if all they doing. No, fuck what is all they doing. Can't she have a male friend that she go to the fucking museum with?
Was the example not made that I don't like going to the museum?
Yes.
So my wife finds somebody else. Why is that an issue if you go with a male or female? If all you're doing is going to the fucking museum.
Because here's the thing.
But hold Henry, because you said yes as long as they only going to the museum. See, you already put a stipulation in there. You already put a rule in that shit. You already tried to make it agreement.
But that is
see what I'm saying? Instead of just saying, my wife can go with somebody.
Come on,
sure. I trust my wife, and I'm not jealous of my wife.
Here's the only rule. No, the only rule is, yo, you can't go out and fuck nobody else.
You should have let me finish.
But dude, what if she wanted to go? What if she wanted to go to the museum, and then there's a moment where they hold hands? Exactly. Nothing more. They hold hands.
Okay, so now that's
what I'm saying is the author. But the thing is about
your homeboy.
But what I'm saying is,
do you hold hands with your homeboy?
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
But women are different. Women are different.
No,
what I'm saying
different.
Yo, that's not different.
Yes, they are different.
No, they're not.
Why they're not?
Your wife has a.
Hold on.
So you tell me if your wife.
Hey, Black Zeus. Women are different because they'll sleep in the bed together, motherfucker. You ain't sleeping with the four of us.
Stop.
The three of us.
Stop. Hear me out.
Women are different. Knock it the fuck off because they are different.
Exactly.
Y'all not hearing what I'm saying.
Your wife isn't holding her male friend's hand.
That's what I'm saying.
She might.
Yo, that's when it becomes a problem. And it's not more than
on Cash page right here because she might. Listen, they looking at something. They're looking at a picture. I'm an artist. That artwork right here invokes a fucking something in them. She gets closer and they hold hands, bruh. What the
you
fuck
making a scenario that would
happen?
be like
no,
one out of
real. That's not,
that'd be like 1 out of 1,000.
That's not 1 out of 1,000, bro.
That's not 1 out of 1,000.
Women are emotional. You can watch a movie, yo. All right, go ahead, Black Zeus.
Not 1 out of 1,000.
Okay, I have a multitude of female friends. I've never held hands with any of my female. I've hugged my female friends. I've gone to the track with my female friends. I've run races with my female friends. I've held deep conversations with them. They call me in the middle of the night, who, and about their boyfriend, but we ain't never held hands.
But dude, that's your anecdotal experience. Stop doing that.
That's what you're
No, I'm not. I'm just creating. No, I'm creating an experience.
And I've never done that either.
So what you're saying is that in general, women always hold hands with everybody that they're around.
I'm not saying they always hold hands. I'm just creating a. What I'm saying is I am creating a. But no, I am creating.
They do hold hands.
That's not an everyday scenario, bro.
But what I'm saying is, but that's what I'm saying.
It's not every day that your wife is going to go to the museum with another dude either. Come on now.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about.
What I'm saying is
your wife is not going to go out with a dude every day either.
Exactly.
So Cash is on point here.
Okay.
So what I'm saying, hold on. Let me finish. Let me say this.
This is your wife. This is your wife.
In the there's I forget which chapter it is. We're all presuming, well, just the two of you guys, presuming that sex is involved. Yo, you could have a relationship that's non-sexually intimate. That's part of the polygamous lifestyle.
Let's be clear about something. Let's be clear about.
I can get a massage though.
When we're talking right now, we're talking about the difference between a platonic relationship and a non-platonic relationship. A marriage is a non-platonic relationship. You should not have any issues with your spouse or your significant other having a non-platonic, having a platonic relationship with anyone, male or female. Now, the whole thing is about the polygamy thing and why we got to make all these rules, not being jealous and this, that, and the other, is because it is non-platonic. Let's be honest about it. That's the whole reason why you brought up the hand thing. That is a non-platonic thing. All right. So please don't play this double standard as if now this goes into this category. These two are two separate items.
What are you talking about? Hold on. I got a
What you're saying is that you don't mind your wife going out with other guys.
No,
hold up.
Because you're not jealous and you're not concerned about that because you know your wife is going to hold you down.
But Smith, it's also, and Cass, it's also unrealistic to think that you and your wife are going to like every single, like the same thing.
I get that, but that's the whole point of the polygamy.
That's the
point, Henry. The whole point is because you're not going to have all your needs met in a monogamous relationship.
Your friends come in. Your friends come in.
What if your friends are not that, and now you're having these sort of relationship with someone of the opposite sex? What I'm saying is this, right?
Brad, show me in the book where it says we're talking about friends, because all I've seen is lover this, lover that. Second level,
but in the book though, she also said that you can have partners and lovers that are non-sexual. She said that.
That was in like 13. They're not sexual.
Okay,
so what I'm saying is,
hold up. So what she's saying, you can. Here's what she said. When she said non-sexual, meaning the fact that these are partners and lovers that are massaging you, right? These were her words. Was it not? That would massage you, having non.
She didn't go to that extent. No, she did not go. She did not go to that extent, bro. She clearly defined. She was
talking about the massaging and stuff. She was, but
what I'm saying is, if my wife met some Rico Suave type dude, and they just they managed to have a connection over fucking going to the arts or going to some the gardens and shit like that, and they just happen to go out, a lot of monogamous relationships will have an issue with that. A lot of them. People talk about, well, you can have platonic friendships in marriages. That's bullshit. It's like it doesn't happen that often. This is why in the polygamous lifestyle is more accepted, because they understand that, these are voids that someone else is filling for you. Whereas when you're in a monogamous relationship, you're dealing with that one partner, and if that one partner is not willing to bend on some of the things that you're not willing, that you're willing to desire, that's why a lot of people see marriages or monogamous relationship as mating in captivity.
But why does that?
Yeah. So what happened was,
why does that void have to be filled? Why does that void have to be filled by Rico Suave? I'm just saying the husband and none of the wife's friends, and none of the wife's friends are into anything that your wife is into.
What I'm saying is,
so they don't find another.
Is the fluid bonding. They said the fluid bonding differs from the monogamy. You know what I mean? And they were talking a lot about the fluid bonding.
What I'm saying is, it could be coincidental.
So y'all are telling me, So you're telling me that there's some shit that you enjoy doing that your wife doesn't enjoy doing, and you found a female who likes the same thing that you like, and it's like, dang, I can't hang out with her because of my wife. Nigga, no, y'all haven't even run into that situation.
No,
either your wife likes it or your friends
look. I tell you right now, for me personally, I can't speak for all men. I can't speak for all relationships, because I think this is what people fall into the trap talking in absolute. I would say for me, because if I were to encounter a female who enjoys the same hobby that I do, which my wife doesn't necessarily have any interest in, I will avoid that female. Point blank, period. Because
that's not what I'm asking.
That's what you asked.
No, I get that. I'm asking. No, I asked, Has that happened to
Has it
you
happened?
personally?
No, because
Yes,
I don't.
There was
I
a
don't,
female like, dang.
I've never.
You can't stop
no.
the situations from happening, Cash.
Yes, it can. Yes,
You
I can.
can't.
What are you, bro? How you telling
You can't.
me? Why? What are you talking about?
Cash, if you have organic conversations with coworkers and y'all find out that y'all like the same shit, you telling me you can prevent that from happening?
Yes,
so you just don't talk to any female coworkers.
I've done it. I've done it.
Stop talking
What are
to
you
that
talking about?
coworker.
I've done it. What are you talking about? This is what I'm talking about. You're talking in absolute. Well, rather than having a
he's
conversation
talking in what he's done.
What he's done. What you're asking me is, all right, if I meet a female,
have you been in? No,
yes,
have you been in?
I've done that.
Like,
I've done that. I've met yes. I am answering your question. I have met females who have shared similar similarities to me, and I've avoided them. Once I discovered,
none of your
I avoided them.
That none of your male friends could fill the void with either.
In that situation, at that particular
time,
yes, because none of you guys, I didn't meet a black Zeus when I was running 5K marathons. There was a chick at my job named Rebecca. She was running Spartan races. She was doing all of these events. And I was like, wow, this chick is pretty freaking cool. You weren't doing it with me. And Jason wasn't doing it with me. Y'all were my two closest friends. I met a chick like that, but I never said, hey, there's this race is coming up. Do you want to run it with me? No, because I felt like I was entering the danger zone if I were to do something like that, because I didn't want an emotion to manifest itself where it was something more than just a platonic relationship.
Okay, so let's try this one more again. Here's the thing, women typically ain't like dudes, all right? You're still thinking women like dudes. And when we talk about these things that you like or that she doesn't like, X, Y, and Z, when you're talking about, like, all right, so for instance, I'm not a big fan of the beach, right? Mm-hmm. So my wife wants to go to a beach, if she wants to go to the beach with a homeboy, I don't give a fuck. Go to the goddamn beach with a homeboy, all right? That you could do what you want to do. That's the thing that I don't like. So that's off the table. I mean, that is completely open and free. But when it comes to fucking, if you and I both like fucking, that's off the table. You can't pass that along to everybody. If you and I like to, eat together, you can't pass that on to somebody else. If it's something if the rule basically is like, it's something that you and I share intimately, you don't pass that on to somebody. How is that, what I'm trying to understand, what is about a polygamous relationship that grants you that doesn't, you can't get that in a monogamous relationship? Because here's the thing, the polygamous relationship, once again, in this whole entire book, is referring to sexual, non-platonic relationship. It is not talking about, we're just buddies, we're just hanging out.
And I get that. I get that for the vast majority of this book. These are non-platonic relationships. Like, you're actually being sexually intimate.
And even with that,
she gave the disclaimer that you can have relationship with people that are non-sexual.
Non-sexual.
Okay. Yeah.
She gave that. She also gave that scenario.
Okay, so let's say she said you can have with non-sexual. But she's still telling you it comes with a bunch of fucking rules. She's still telling you it comes with a bunch of restrictions. So where's this freedom that you're getting in polygamy that you're not getting in
the freedom is, and once again, we look at this as a pie chart. The freedom is, all right, in most monogamous relationships.
Here's another thing. If you want to look at depression, do you know anybody that's committed suicide, because, I'm in a marriage, or people that commit suicide because I'm alone?
Well, I know people who commit homicides and double homicides and suicide. So what I'm saying is, and look, you can look at you can look at a marriage as a pie chart. You can have 70% of your needs met by your wife. Now, these 30%, the other 30% might not ever be met by your wife. You're in this monogamous relationship. Whereas if you're in
reality.
That's the reality for you. Whereas these people who indulge in the polygamous lifestyle, they get all 100% of their needs met by multiple people.
My point.
But here's the thing: they're still not whole. They're still splintered between 100 people.
But you are whole as a person. You are whole. Dude, this is a philosophical question that you're trying to challenge, and I'm trying to say that for these individuals who are practicing it, if you have all of these fucking criteria or categories and it's being met by certain individual, you as a person could be whole. Now you might not be aligned with that process, but for them it works.
Well, I don't know if it does, because I told y'all last week about the dude I know, the Haitian dude I know.
That's him.
Was living that polygamous lifestyle. Oh, so it's like when you hear it directly from a polygamist, instead of this book where it comes from two people's perspective, you're not hearing it directly from the inside or a multitude of people.
What I'm saying,
you're hearing it from two people's perspective that are writing this book.
No, what I'm saying is
telling you someone who's actually lived the life and said that it's a community of broken people.
No, what I'm saying is, I'm not ruling out is there definitely probably are a lot of pitfalls in the polygamous, non-monogamous lifestyles. I don't rule that out. But at the same time, I'm not going to act like, there aren't some advantages that they might have over a monogamous relationship.
I just feel like the chances of somebody finding some the same hobby as them because their significant other and none of their friends are interested in it, and somebody of their same sex is interested in it first. I see that shit as being slim to none. Like, I don't think that shit happens that frequently.
You don't know that, Kel.
The person of the opposite sex is the last resort. My significant other doesn't like it. Then this has to be something new unless maybe I left all of my friends and I don't have any friends now. So just
hold on. Let's say I pick up.
Like
all right, Kel. Let's stick with that. Let's say I started to pick up the hobby of rock climbing. You don't rock climb.
I don't rock climb.
But let me finish. Let's say I pick up. Let's say I pick up the hobby of rock climbing. You currently don't rock climb. None of you guys are professional rock climbers. Let's say I decided to go to meetup.com, which you can find various groups. And then I join meetup.com. I find a group of entry-level rock climbers. And the first person I met is a chick. And she and I kick it off. Yo, that for some people, they could see that sort of connection. If you're in a monogamous relationship, some people are like, that's interesting. Tell me more about Tiffany. And my partner, my monogamous
then that's
partner
something that you yes, and that's
what I'm saying is my not
if you're looking for a group.
I'm saying
that's something that you're searching for. If you're looking for
I get that, Kel, but
the first person you see is a female, you're like, okay, this is it.
Okay, but Kel, what I am trying, but Kel, what
if the whole group is females, Kel? Damn.
Exactly what I'm trying to acknowledge.
Does it make a difference?
Say that again.
What the whole female is female. What I'm trying to acknowledge.
So it's only female rock climbers.
But Kel, listen to what I'm saying. Kel, listen to what I'm saying.
You're trying to make it fit your narrative, Kel. You're
not
listening.
You're not listening. No, what I'm saying is I'm trying to be open. I'm trying to be open, and you're not. What I'm trying to say to you is this: some monogamous relationship, that partner might not be open to the idea that you found the female rock climber that you attach yourself to.
And you know what, Cash? You know what? I wouldn't be comfortable either unless there was like no fucking female rock climbers, and my wife is saying, "Look,
dude,
only males are into this shit."
Yo, but I get that, and I could get you.
Like out of all of the rock climbers, I would feel like out of all of the fucking rock climbers,
if that's
you had
the
to choose
only
a female,
and
you
it's
had to
only
choose a male
females,
rock
and that's the only group. What is a motherfucker supposed to do?
But that's unrealistic because that's not the truth.
Yo, but we're saying that is.
Look at this. So now you're coming up with a scenario to fit your narrative.
You're saying I gotta go out to fucking You're saying I gotta go out to North Dakota to find a fucking all male group when I'm in fucking New Jersey.
So, I'm sorry. I didn't know, Cash. That was the scenario. So in the rock climbing group,
for me,
so in your rock climbing area, in this area, there's only women in all of the males.
Saying that if there's only women, Henry, if there is only women.
What I'm saying is
you want to say, but no, it ain't only women.
Smith,
but
if there's only women,
Henry, listen,
for
argument's sake,
if there's only women, then that's fine. But if there's women and men in the area. Oh, there's 50 males.
Okay, we only saying if there's only women.
Female rock climbers, and the one who I decide, the shell comes home and says, it's all of these female who's into rock climbing, but I want to fuck with this nigga who got these big ass muscles. I'm like, yo, what about all the chicks? But if you're saying there's no females at all,
But okay, but what I'm saying, but
now that's not Cash's scenario.
But my scenario is this. My scenario is this.
And he's linked, and he's forming the connection with the person of the opposite sex.
But what let's stick to that. Let's
the first person that he saw on there.
But exactly. Let's stick to that.
He didn't say he was on there looking for a female. He said, I went, it was entry level. The first person I saw on there was a female.
Yes, but that's not the only person.
You're saying that's what he was looking for.
Exactly.
You're saying
that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you know, and I don't want to say I'll change it, but if there's no other option, like the most comfortable option for me, if my wife says she rock climbing, it's for her to find a female rock climber. If she comes to me and says, I went on the website and the first person that I saw was a male, so we're hanging out, I'm going to say, well, were there no females on there?
But that's that's the situation in regards.
But you're not even building a connection with the person online.
Kel, listen to what you just said. You're now, because these are the issues in monogamy versus non-monogamous.
You're jealous
because now you're having to ask questions to say, why can't you find another female rock climber? Whereas in a non-monogamous relationship, you could just say, yo, I just met so-and-so. You're having to put these stipulations so that you can stay within the parameters of your monogamous relationships, so that there isn't any issue.
But there's still stipulations.
The stipulation was no. In the there's stipulation
too.
No,
there's stipulations in that shit too.
But listen to what I'm saying.
I'm gonna hang out with you. On that day, I'm gonna hang out with you.
But
the stipulation is you can only feel jealous to this certain extent.
But in a monogamous relationship, this is why this is made in captivity. In a monogamous relationship, you are putting more barriers as to who I could connect with. Whereas in this polygamous lifestyle, there's boundaries, there's rules, there's agreement, but I don't want to speak in absolute as to like this is happening in all polyamorous relationship. But let's say my wife and I will practice polyamory. I can easily tell her and say, yo, I met Tiffany, and let that be that. Whereas in a monogamous, Cal, let me finish. What I'm saying is, whereas if you're in a monogamous relationship and Michelle meets some dude named fucking Rico, you're gonna be like, why you gotta meet Rico? Why can't you find another female?
Okay, but Cash, so you're not telling me that there's stipulations with the couple where couples are saying, well, we have to talk every single night about our partners. Those are stipulations too.
No, but those are stipulations. But there's no stipulation. No. There's no stipulation in who you meet. No. There's no in that scenario. There wasn't a stipulation in who you meet. It was only a stipulation to keep an open line of communication. That was it.
There's still stipulations.
No, but there's no
different stipulations.
There's a different stipulation.
Boundaries and agreements. Different stipulations, bro.
That's a different rule.
Listen, your agreement is different because your agreement is a marriage license, motherfucker. That's the agreement that you got, whether you know this or not. So this book is not too far-fetched. Like, you do got an agreement. All three of y'all got an agreement. I'm the only motherfucker on here with no agreement. You understand? Y'all all got an agreement. Y'all got an agreement by law. You got a fucking contract. You understand the difference? I wanted to tell y'all this quote that I wrote down. They said, meander through the garden of eternal delight. Meander through the garden of eternal delight. And I said, what the fuck? But they were talking about, and when you're in a polyamorous lifestyle, that you should understand that there are more than just you, and you don't know what partner you want. So you need to go through the garden of the eternal delight and sleep around and see who the fuck you really love or like. And I said, I'm going to write this quote down because that's what I'm going to use when I talk to the chicks at the bar. I'm like, hey, would you like to meander through the garden of eternal delight with me tonight? I'm sorry, I had to break it up. Y'all was doing a lot of arguing and shit. Huh? You said it sounds like being single? It is being single. It's a single quote.
I can dig it.
Hey, man, listen. Janet said that shit, bruh. I didn't see that shit.
Janet Jack me?
No, Janet Harvey. But the motherfucking author of the book, oh my goodness.
At the end of the day.
I didn't know y'all was on a first name basis.
Black Zeus, you got something there. Go ahead, brother.
I pay attention to what I'm reading.
At the end of the day, the one major definer that we all know, we want to dance around it, is simply fact of the difference between a monogamous relationship and a polygamous relationship is how many people you fuck. That's it.
That's what it comes down to.
That's what it boils down to. And the whole thing is that to say that, hey, to fuck one person can be depressing, I could see that. But at the same token, what is it's a trade-off. Maybe you trade off fucking only one person for the rest of your life, but you know this person got 10 toes down for you. This person gonna have your baby.
I don't disagree with that.
Hold on,
That's
let me finish my statement.
I
let y'all ramble on forever. I didn't interject. The other side of it is if you're polygamous and you're like, listen, I'm gonna mess around with 10 people, but none of those people have to have 10 toes down for me. That is the cost of that. So at the end of the day, you know, you just gotta make a decision what's best for you. You want somebody that got 10 toes down for you, or you want to fuck 10 people. It's up to you. That's what it boils down to. Just that simple.
Now, I agree with that first part in regards to, I personally agree with that. I feel like being with that one individual, you have that blanket of security for the rest of your life. If all things goes well, because we just talked about how 50% of marriages fails. And who knows of the 50% of marriages that do succeed, how many of those marriages are happy? You know, that's another unspoken. That's another unspoken thing. But you know,
but 90% of polygamous relationships that are going great.
But let me finish that second part. Yes, I don't know the statistics on polygamy. To be honest, no one knows the statistics on polygamy because this is something that I don't think a lot of researchers even bother to deal with. We are a very quote unquote Christian monogamous society. We rule, you know, we got laws against polyamory. So it's not necessarily something that we gather data on. These are all anecdotal stories that we're all sharing if we do meet somebody who engage in an open lifestyle. So it's just like we don't know enough. We don't have enough data to really base what we presume the polyamorous lifestyle is. But I'm not going to act like that these people, you know, are not happy. Like, I just can't. Like, if you know, it's just like if these people are presenting a situation to me and they're saying that, yo, it works for some people, so be it. You know,
I don't think they're any more or less happy than monogamous people are.
Happiness is subjective. I think Schubert said this in a book. I forget which book we were talking about. Happiness is subjective. You're right. I don't necessarily agree in regards to whether or not they're more happy or not, but they could be more fulfilled in many ways, because we just read Made in Captivity. Yo, you got motherfuckers, you got people in marriages that are in fucking complete shambles, bro. Shambles. They stay married, but they're in shambles. Whereas somebody who's polyamorous, they're getting all of their needs met.
Anyway, let's move on to the next question.
Maybe they are.
I think my question.
Maybe they are. You know, I just what I'm not gonna do is presume that all polyamorous lifestyle is negative, because I just
all right. Let's pause right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to
move on to the next question. Yeah,
I'm going to do some research. I'm going to research this polygamy lifestyle, right?
Yeah, get some data, bro.
Out there. Yeah. I'll put myself out there, and I'll do the scientific evidence part. All right. I'll be trial, and we're gonna run a trial several times, and we're gonna see.
I just got the image of Hakeem just
hey, Black Zeus, you laughing? Well, I mean, listen. When I sit down, when I talk to these chicks, I was told I'll meet most of them at the Renaissance Fair. You know what I mean? The Renaissance Fair is where I meet most, but also fairs and carnivals. That's what Janet said anyway in the book. I was like, shit, Renaissance. She like cosplay. Go to cosplay. You see this shit. Go to like places where you got to dress up. You'll find a lot of sluts there, a lot of ethical sluts. So I'll try this shit, and I'll report back to you all and see how this shit works.
Thank you for your service and your sacrifice.
You know what I mean? I'll put myself out there. I'll go through all the motherfucking harm and damnation and shit. You know what I mean? I'll be the motherfucking whore slut dude for a minute just to research this to see if it's fucking actually credible and if it works.
Right. It's just like our society put
on to the next question.
A negative life on it. I just don't think you're gonna find enough adequate data on this lifestyle. It's all just
I'm going to do it, and I'm going to find the data.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily that society puts
I don't think it's going to be that simple. I think it's going to be like, oh, you a hoe. You just trying to fuck her.
So if it was something that I feel like if it was something that was that successful, you would see it happen more consistently. Because we all know that that's
it's not. Listen,
We all know that there's
but what I'm saying is you got laws that advocate against the polygamous lifestyle. So how can we honestly say that this is not successful when we put laws into place for
I'm gonna say honestly, I don't think
have nothing to do
with
what goes on in my bedroom.
With all the Google schedules and all of the extra communication and the streamline of a calendar and all that, I don't think that could be. I mean, if that's what you want, though,
if that's what you want,
each is his own. So
the law simply
I don't
says,
think that'll be successful for me.
All the law says is that you cannot, marry more than one person at a time, and that if you are in a marriage and you split up, then the law decides who gets what. That's all the law does. Other than who you fucking, there's no law on that. If that's the case, niggas would be getting tickets all day.
Yeah, the polyamorous lifestyle you can just do.
You be getting tickets all day.
You just got to find the people that's doing it.
In the United States, polygamy is illegal in all 50 states. However, in Utah in February 2020, the law was significantly changed in the House and the Senate to reduce polygamy to the status of the traffic tick. It's illegal, even in practice.
No.
Stop.
To be in a polygamous lifestyle, not to be an ethical slut.
But I'm talking about a polygamy.
I understand that, but listen, an ethical slut part is.
Hold on.
The only way I'm really getting into polygamy is if I'm in a relationship.
Pause. Here's the thing: the United States defines polygamy as you marrying more than one person. That's
exactly.
But I'm not putting stipulations. But hold on, time out. We're talking about polygamy. I'm not putting stipulations on it. We're just talking about polygamy. And I just read you the law.
Just through the marriage,
but the law is only
but I'm talking about hold up. What you guys are
missing is not talking about marrying multiple people.
But hold up.
I am talking multiple relationships.
Okay, that's fine. But what I'm talking about in regards to polygamy is when you outlaw something, a lot of times there isn't going to be enough case studies for you to do the research. It's the same thing. Hold on. Let me just say this. It's the same thing in regards of the conversation about cannabis. There's a lot of benefits to cannabis. The problem with the reason why a lot of medical benefits to cannabis, but it's still a Schedule II, and a lot of people within the in the health community who advocates for cannabis, they want the laws to be changed in regards of having cannabis removed as a Schedule II, so that scientists, actual universities, could actually study it. So when you got something that's currently illegal, the problem is people don't put the resource into actual conducting the study. I'm not talking about just the marriage aspect.
And Cash, can you hear me?
I'm just talking about polygamy in general.
And I said I'm going to do the research. I'm going to be the study, nigga. I'm not going to research and Google shit. I'm going to do the shit. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand.
And I appreciate your
Black Juice is on that page. He understands what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm going to try this shit and see if the shit works.
And I appreciate.
I'm not Googling shit. Now, the only thing is my scale won't be smaller because I'm not in Brazil. I'm not in Hong Kong.
And that's what I'm talking about.
But I still get the sense of what it is from my own independent research.
But I get that.
You got to start somewhere, Cash. You got to start somewhere.
And I appreciate the efforts. I appreciate Schubert's story in regards of the one man he knows. I appreciate your efforts going forward.
So when Hugh Hefner was open about how he had like 6 girlfriends that lived with him, how come nobody bust down the door? Hey, polygamy is illegal.
Because he never called them girlfriends.
Yes, he did. He called them girlfriends. He didn't call them wives.
Yes, he did. He didn't call them wives.
Nah,
he didn't marry
them. He never called them girlfriends.
Yes, he did. Everybody knows that about you.
But remember, a girlfriend, I can have 20 girlfriends. It's not 20 wives. It's a difference. That's the polygamous lifestyle. You can't marry more than one motherfucker in the United States.
That's it. That's how the United States defines polygamy.
But I can sleep with as many people as I want. I can have as many girlfriends as I want.
Thank you.
There's nothing against me having 20 girlfriends. I can have 20 if I want to.
Notice the book didn't say multiple wives or multiple husbands.
Yeah, not multiple partners.
It would be a husband.
Okay. All right. And we were talking about, but I'm still talking about in regards to, we still don't know the data surrounding polygamy. We just don't. We don't advocately go out and do the research to say, hey, how many partners you have? Just
have you looked it up? Have you looked it up?
What I'm saying,
because we know swingers, swinger clubs, swinger parties,
and they're all underground. That's not popular. It's underground. It's taboo.
No, it is and it's not. Meaning the fact
how is it not?
It's not.
It's not that underground because
it's
my
not that
Italian
underground
girl.
because I've known plenty of people that
again, anecdotal.
Yeah, my Italian
by and
girl
large,
had a principal invite
not
her out.
because it's illegal though. The whole thing is
Her
that a lot of people aren't down with it. That's it. A lot of people ain't down for a swingers party, but those that are down go to it. It's not something that they hide or anything like that. Oh, you got to knock 3 times on this door to give the password through a slide door. It's not it's not that heavy, my dude. I've been invited to things like 3 times already.
Well, you just said something false. Actually, swinger clubs are illegal in several states. So again, we talk out our asses about things that we don't really truly know. Swinger clubs are illegal in several states.
Listen, but
it's still taboo.
It's not a taboo. Let me say my thing.
Well, what I'm saying is Schubert said something that was completely false.
Let me say it.
In which states, though?
This is what I'm about to say.
It doesn't matter. It's still legal in several states.
Listen,
you just said that it's not taboo.
Okay, again.
In New Jersey,
you don't know how many people that you've slept with in your lifetime necessarily, as most people don't. So you was already a swinger, motherfucker. So how is it illegal now that you're
I'm going by the law, bro. That's all I'm doing.
That's what I'm talking about. So swinging is not illegal.
He said swinger clubs. He said swinger clubs. Bro,
but the clubs are not getting shut down.
I'm not talking about the activity. I'm not talking about the activity of you sleeping with multiple people. He said swinger clubs are not illegal, and I corrected him and said it is in several states.
And what states?
I didn't actually say anything about. I didn't say anything about swinger clubs. I said parties.
Yes, you did, bro.
I said parties. I said parties, but okay. But whatever. The whole thing is people still do it.
They got swinger clubs in New York, bro. That's what I was trying to tell you. My homegirl, Italian girl.
I'm not denying that these activities does not happen
because you got big dogs in there. You got senators and these bitches and everything.
I understand all of that. I understand all of that. What I'm saying is the problem that we have when we're talking about the polygamous lifestyle and the polygamy community is we do not have a substantial amount of evidence in regards to the success rate of these people, what these people are going through.
I agree with that. That's why I said I was going to do some research.
And I agree. And I appreciate that.
I've been set that down and said I'll do some research because you can't Google that shit. Because
you can't.
Guess what? We could be on here with some polygamists and we don't know because people don't talk about that lifestyle. You understand?
Yeah.
So don't get it twisted. No, you could be a polygamist, motherfucker. You talking one way, but you could be a polygamist. I'm
not talking against it.
I'm just saying that's how it works.
Yeah.
People are undercover freaks, motherfucker. It's called undercover freak. You know that shit.
Oh yeah. So, but that's what Janet Dorsey said.
Listen, the polygamy shit is not far from the monogamy shit. The monogamy shit just mean I'm trying to be faithful in this case. And polygamy shit mean, look, I'm trying to fuck different people.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah. And in a marriage, sometimes you're like, I want to fuck different people, but shit, I signed this contract, so I'm not. Or I am, and hopefully I won't get caught. So the polygamous lifestyle and the ethical slut part becomes I'm not being compassionate I'm not being compassionate to my partner because I'm not willing to tell them what I'm doing. Where the polygamous lifestyle is, I'm willing to tell you what I'm doing, so that way no feelings are hurt.
I agree with all of that. Yup, I agree with all of that. That's all it is.
That's all it is.
And whether or not I'm not going to label them as being, now granted, what Schubert said in regards to the statement in regards of marriage being depression and
marriage is depression and polygamy is freedom.
It's freedom. Would I go to that extent and ever make that as a personal statement? No, but I could see where the author is coming from in regards of making that statement, especially after we just came off the cusp of reading Mating in Captivity.
Get